Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Notice something different? That's right, I got a mic now. Now you can all listen to my beautiful, beautiful voice in whatever quality you're watching YouTube. I won't judge. Anyways, today it's time for the new series you were promised. I will be teaching you how to survive a zombie apocalypse. This is coming from a man with zero survival experience who read a survival book one time. Anyways, so first step in surviving a zombie apocalypse, determine why you're in a zombie apocalypse in the first place. Was it caused by an infection? If so, then you're lucky. There are probably people out there working on it, trying to save humanity. Whether they'll be successful depends on the second variant. Are you in a movie or not? How do you know if you're in a movie? That's the trick. You don't. At least not until the movie logic comes in. If cars start randomly disappearing in and out of your world, that definitely means you're in a movie. If people start disappearing randomly in and out of your world, that means you're in a movie. If people start acting unnecessarily friendly or unnecessarily hostile, that doesn't mean you're in a movie. That could mean you're just either a really nice person or a dick. But in most cases, assume if something really random is happening and you're in a zombie apocalypse, you're in a movie. So, let's say that you wake up one day. You may have been working at a somewhat fancy hospital that recently had a death. Who knows? Maybe it was run by an accurate company. No one knows. Anyways, let's say you got home after work and now you found out there's a zombie apocalypse on. What do you do? First step is figure out who's alive. Do you have family members in your house? Are they all at home? If not, you might be in a movie. You might have to go on a quest to rescue them. Or not. If you choose not to, it means you have free will, which means you're definitely not in a movie. Anyways, next step. Take some stock of what you have in the house. Anything you can use as weapons, any food, any materials for reading, any clothes that can help you get through when your clothes inevitably break or when you inevitably grow so small from lack of food that you can't wear them anymore. Once you've determined all of that, you can determine what your situation is. Do you want to leave the house? Or do you want to stay in the house where you have delicious foods like canned beans, pineapples, sardines, bolognese, and, of course, a lone stick of butter? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Once you've decided upon that, you need to decide now what you're going to do about it. If you have no food, no clothes, no reading materials, and nothing in your house, you should probably leave. Not a good, even though it might be survivable for a while, there's no real point in staying somewhere which has no real defensive abilities. Remember, the second you have to leave the house in search of food and weaken from lack of food is the second you're going to get jumped by a zombie. Why? Because even though you're not in a movie, people without food do stupid things sometimes. I would know. Anyways, so next step. Do you have a mode of transportation? If you do, you're extremely lucky. Does the mode of transportation still work and is not this car? Then also you're lucky. If your mode of transportation is so badly beaten up, like this car here, you're probably either in a movie or in a zombie game. Not saying anything about the current situation. Anyways, if your house is like this and it's foggy, you are definitely in a bad state. You will probably have to run past a lot of zombies without even knowing. You're most likely to attract a large horde this way. However, because it's foggy, if you can get into a house without any zombies noticing you, you might be safe. Anyways, that's what we're going to try and do now. But, next step. Finding a house or finding some useful equipment. What could be useful here? Well, in this situation, our last house had food but we didn't bring any, so possibly a bag would be useful. And an open window would also be useful, but, you know. Okay, so here's the next problem. Let's say it's raining, you're stuck outside, you see zombies everywhere, and you did something stupid, like close a window on yourself when you were about to escape. What do? Well, your first step is determine how many are coming after you. Is there one zombie? If so, try and fight them off with whatever you have on hand. Hell, even sometimes your shoe will do. But if there are multiple zombies, or you've got an entire horde coming after, I would suggest you run and you try and find shelter as fast as possible. So, we got lucky here, we found something extremely useful. If you can find something like an axe, for example, and you have decent physical strength to swing it, consider yourself extremely, extremely lucky. Might mean you get to survive this thing after all. Next step, find food, find something to carry the food, and move. In a zombie apocalypse, the one thing that's going to kill you is staying put. Zombies will inevitably converge on your house. Why? Because there's a rule that says, if you are the only person alive in a zombie apocalypse, then the zombies will automatically find you. Why? Because they want something to eat, don't we all? Anyways. next thing you want to do is make sure that you aren't creating too much noise. Even in non-movie zombie apocalypses, things are commonly drawn by noise. Even if they're half rotting and their eyes are falling out of their head, they still probably have ears and a semi-functional brain that works. Therefore, meaning that it is dangerous for you to make noise. So try and stay as quiet as possible. Don't go around screaming your name out, looking for people. If you are doing this completely without your own choice, that means you're in a movie and you should resign yourself to your fate. Anyway, so now that you've created an absolute mess of yourself, what do you do? Well, the next step is H, hygiene. In a zombie apocalypse, even if you don't know what's causing it, the most important step is keeping yourself clean. If you can't keep yourself clean, small cuts or bruises that you may not have been paying attention to earlier can very rapidly turn into life-ending infections. So always make sure to wash and keep yourself and your clothes clean, as well as your weapons if you're going to be using them on other people, or don't worry about keeping them if you're going to be using them on other people. Anyways, so even though cleaning yourself might seem like a chore in a extremely apocalyptic world, it is a chore, but it's one that is a necessary evil. Doing it will ensure that no matter what injuries you get, at least the only reason you'll be getting infected is because you did not find any disinfectant. Anyways, so as I said, zombies have this odd thing where they converge on the house of the only living person. As you can see here, they've converged on the house I'm in, and I'm the only living person. Coincidence? I think not. This is also known as the zombie game trope. If you're in a zombie movie, if you think you're in a zombie movie, but suddenly you see all the zombies converging on yourself, no matter what, no matter how many other people are out there, you might be in a zombie movie. However, if you can't find anyone else, no matter how busy the area you used to live in is, and all the zombies seem to be standing around aimlessly, you might be in a zombie game. Is this good? Sort of. In a game, people are controlling you. Is this good? Definitely not. Unless you have a player who knows what they're doing. However, in this scenario, I do not know what I'm doing, so it is not good for our poor character here. But anyways. So, now that we've got food... Oh, wait. Now that we have food, we do have some cherries that will restore 3 hunger and 1 thirst. We can kind of keep moving. So, next tip in the zombie apocalypse, find something big. It can be a shopping mall, a police station, even a town hall. But anywhere which might have a lot of food, resources, or somewhere to hide, all good choices. Ideally, you'll want to have stocked up food before going to these places, as relying on vending machines can only get you so far. Even though the food is non-perishable, it's not super nutritious. And yeah. So as you can see, we're going through a pretty built-up rich area right now. We could drop into one of these houses, but let's just shake the crowd we developed. Now, how do you get... Let's say it's in open daylight, and suddenly you realize you're being followed by a horde. What do you do? In this case, don't resign yourself to being another meal. Fight back. Well, it depends on the size of the horde. If the horde is over 10 zombies, do not attempt to fight back. You will die. Instead, what you should do is get around a building, if possible, and make a run for it. Zombies are, even though they might not be the most observant creatures, they do still have some sort of brain. But the second you leave their range of sight, in most scenarios, they'll probably forget about you and go to the next running fast food meal they can find. However, in this case, all of these doors are locked, which means that if I was a zombie right now, I would have a very easy time getting some delicious human meal. What else should you be aware of in the zombie apocalypse? Zombies like this that look like they're sleeping, no matter how much they might look like they're just a human falling asleep, never assume that. Assumptions are what kill. Also, make sure you contain your panic. If you're panicked, you're spewing adrenaline everywhere, and you're swinging your weapons like a madman, you're not going to get very far. They're going to overwhelm you really quickly when you run out of energy. So what do you do instead? Just make sure that you stay out of sight long enough for yourself to calm down. Or if you're in a movie or a game, there'll always be some convenient Deus Ex Machina medicines to keep you alive. Anyways, so let's say that you are in a suburb. It is a suburb filled with rich people, and therefore rich people who remember to lock their windows. What do? Well, the solution? Break the windows. This is not necessarily the wisest idea, but if you are looking for shelter, it might be worth it. Also, some zombies will take longer to kill than others, that's just a fact of life. So, Luckily, it didn't trigger an alarm, and for some reason, as you can see, you know you're in a game when the zombies are so dumb that when you break a window and stand right outside of it, they'll go to attack a door instead. So, make sure you remove the broken glass so you don't cut yourself up. Again, you won't have time to be clean, even though your hygiene is important, you might not always have time to clean yourself off. And remember, always go for the head, no matter what. In a zombie apocalypse scenario, this is double important. So, here I got a laceration. That's just a deep cut, and we might be able to survive this if we can get some first aid stuff and stop ourselves from bleeding out. However, that is not overtly likely, as I cannot find any medical supplies. Okay, so in this case what you do is you rip up your shirt and you make a bandage, because shirts in a zombie apocalypse you can take off a body. Bandages, not as easy, especially not to find clean ones. Am I going to get infected from this? Maybe, who knows. Just all a matter of luck, isn't it? Anyways, when there are just random zombies standing around inside your house, you know your house is not safe. Is that a big common knowledge thing? Maybe, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong. But if you see a zombie inside your house, would you say you're safe? Anyways, make sure to grab whatever you drop so long as it's not broken, considering that even the smallest amount of clothing might save your life. Anyways, let's go upstairs. In a zombie apocalypse, upstairs is always the best and the worst place to be simultaneously. Ooh, leather gloves. Okay. In zombie apocalypse, being upstairs is the best thing to be, and also the worst thing. The question is, why? Well, being upstairs, for one, means that no matter what, as long as you have a somewhat long weapon, hell, it doesn't even have to be a weapon, just a random broom that you found could also work, but so long as you have a weapon of some form that is long, you can beat zombies down the stairs with it, and then you can just keep going. The problem being, at some point, you will run out of energy, and when that happens, well, you'll be forced to go into a room, and being on the upstairs, jumping out of a window is much more dangerous. If you find any weapons, be sure to take them along with you, no matter how inefficient they may seem at the time. Why? Because, no matter what... Oh no, for goodness sake. Anyways, no matter what, in a zombie apocalypse, weapons are always good to have. Why? Because, even if you don't have ammunition for them, you can still use them as melee weapons once your main weapon breaks. So anyways, as I was saying, this is the reason why upstairs isn't safe at all. Now, even if I need to escape, there's no way I'm just jumping out the window like that. I'll end up with worse injuries, and I'm already running way out of materials to quell your injuries. So now, what is the fourth step in a zombie apocalypse? What is the fourth most important thing that will keep you alive? Can anyone guess? If anyone of you guessed keeping track of the time, you would be correct. Keeping track of the time is the most important thing, is one of the most important things. As if it's night, zombies are more likely to be more active. Anyways, in a zombie apocalypse, you need to make sure of one thing, and one thing only, that no matter where you are, no matter how dangerous it may be, you have food. Why? Because a human can drink dirty water and survive. What a human can't do is eat rotten food and survive. Getting food poisoning during a zombie apocalypse is definitely a non-ideal situation. If you have food poisoning and you're laid up in the bathroom, that's not a good idea. Anyways, as you can see, you can definitely tell we're in a game, because the zombies, no matter how quiet I am, keep somehow finding me. So, in this case, it's a game zombie apocalypse, which means you don't have to feel bad about killing the zombies. That's only for plot purposes. Anyways, now that we're all nice and clean, let's grab our glass and get out of here. Oh wait, no, this is our house. Oh, alright. So, next thing we need to find is ideally some body armor. Doesn't have to be proper body armor, but a helmet or even a construction hard hat would do. All it needs to do is stop your head from getting bitten. Your head gets bitten, that's basically the same as you hitting a zombie in the head with an axe. Both of them are equally lethal to whoever gets affected by it. So right now we're just going to go and try and find something to wear, or find somewhere to hide. Either of them will work.
So at this point I realized I forgot to record an ending, so yeah, sorry about that. Anyways, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.